Hello, in this video I'm going to talk about Buddha bowls, specifically which ingredients you can put into a Buddha bowl. These are one of the healthiest things you can eat, so you're really going to want to watch this video. Alright, let's get into the Buddha bowl ingredients list. But first I'm going to answer the question, what is a Buddha bowl? A Buddha bowl is a one-dish meal that consists of many things such as rice, whole grains, vegetables, protein, and it usually includes a dressing. So all of these things can include any type of thing that you put into a salad or any of the other things listed here. Like, you wouldn't typically put rice in a salad, but a Buddha bowl, think of it as more of a salad that is a meal and not just a healthy appetizer. So a Buddha bowl can be your main course because it includes all of these things. And so I'm going to go in depth in this video with all of the ingredients that you can put into a Buddha bowl. First of all, we've got greens. You can put greens in a Buddha bowl, but you don't have to. I just like to because what better way to get them into your diet? Because greens, let's face it, they're not the best tasting, especially, you know, some of these like kale and Swiss chard and collard greens, mustard greens. They really need to have some kind of flavor mixed in with them. So I really like putting these types of greens in my Buddha bowls because it makes them more palatable. What a great way to get more of those into your diet. And of course, you can also use the types of lettuces like romaine and leaf lettuce that aren't really bitter, so they're really good to put in Buddha bowls. They don't overpower the flavor, the overall flavor. And it helps if you can chop them into small bits as well. I take my lettuce or whatever I choose to use as my greens, and I chop them up real small into like bite-sized little pieces, because that way you're not really getting a whole mouthful of just greens. So that's a tip for you. Let's move on to the next one, and that is cooked grains. So this can include anything, any type of rice, and any type of these other grains like millet, quinoa, buckwheat, barley, and a couple of these other ones on this list that I've actually never had, and I hear all the time that they're so healthy for you. They're like superfoods. So what a great way to get those into your diet is to make a Buddha bowl with those things, because I don't know about you, but I can't believe that things like spelt and amaranth and millet would taste good. And so, you know, I usually use rice. I'll admit, I take the easy way out, and I just use either basmati rice, wild rice, or brown rice. I might have used quinoa a time or two, but basmati rice is really good, because basmati rice, also jasmine rice, those two are those are easy to digest. So in Ayurveda, they usually recommend people eat basmati rice. And although it is white, it's a better carb than regular white rice. So once you've got those in, then you can add your protein. And protein, of course, includes beef, chicken, lentils, beans, green peas, or even hummus. So hummus is something, I mean, that's probably a acquired taste, especially when it comes to Buddha bowls, because when you put hummus in there, it's kind of a, you know, a creamy substance. It's not really something you can chew like chicken bits or beef bits or beans or lentils. My favorite thing to put in Buddha bowls is chicken and green peas. And I have done beans before. Beans aren't my favorite, but, you know, if you're gonna try to get your beans your fiber in your diet, using it in a Buddha bowl is a great way, because I mean, if you're not a fan of beans, then putting them in a Buddha bowl would make them palatable. just the same as, you know, the greens, because, you know, you're mixing it with all these other ingredients and you're also adding some flavor. So you're kind of masking the flavor of these things that you don't like. So in a sense, Buddha bowls are one of the best things that you can eat as far as eating healthy, because you can put the things in there that you don't particularly like, the things that you don't want to eat on their own. And that way you can't really taste them. Because as we're going to get to, the secret of a good Buddha bowl is the sauce or the dressing. And I'll be getting to that in a minute. But first we're going to go over the other ingredient list here, and that's vegetables. So you really want to include a lot of vegetables in there because, you know, what's the point of a healthy meal without vegetables? So you can put in anything on this list, or in fact, I bet you could probably put almost any vegetable you can think of. But these are the most common. Bell peppers especially. I love putting bell peppers in my Buddha bowls. Tomatoes. Cucumbers are good too because they don't have much of a flavor, but they add a lot of moisture. Carrots are really good. Broccoli is really good. And at the time that I made this slide, I didn't know about broccolini, but broccolini is now my favorite type of vegetable. I don't like broccoli, and broccolini is 100% improvement on broccoli. But the problem is I have only been able to get broccolini in my Misfits Market box. I don't know if you've never heard of Misfits Market. It's a box that comes delivered. It's organic food, mostly, I think, if not all. And it's very cheap because it's supposedly misfit food, but it doesn't seem like it because everything's fine. I've done a video on this if you're interested in checking out Misfits Market, but that's the only place that I've been able to find broccolini so far. I haven't been to Whole Foods looking for it yet. They probably would have some, but Whole Foods is a little on the spendy side. So if you're looking for cheap ways to get your vegetables, then Misfits Market is great. Aldi is also great, but Aldi does not have broccolini. Anyway, that was a small tangent. Okay, so you can put cauliflower in there, green beans, zucchini, snow peas, and sugar snap peas, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, radishes, even roasted sweet potatoes. So the next thing I'm going to cover in the Buddha bowl ingredient list is herbs, and I think herbs are actually one of the best ways that you can eat healthy and also like improve the flavor of your meals. So basil, cilantro, chives, parsley, thyme, oregano, rosemary, any of these, or, you know, really, you can put almost any herb that you want in there. Mix and match. That's the great thing about Buddha bowls. They're really a mix and match healthy meal. So whatever herbs are your favorite. I tend to love basil and cilantro the most, parsley and thyme and oregano too, because those are more of like the Italian flavor, so those all go good together. And I really love rosemary too, but I've actually never put that in my Buddha bowls, but of course you can put whatever herbs that you like. So now we're getting to the good stuff, and Buddha bowls are really bland in as far as flavor, unless, or I should say until, you put the dressing in. So the dressing or the sauce, this is what I really think is the number one key to making a good Buddha bowl. Because if you mix a bad sauce or a bad dressing, then your whole Buddha bowl might be ruined. So you really want to do your research on this. I have a list here, but these are just ingredients to make your own. So most of these aren't going to work by themselves. They are meant to be mixed and matched with other of these ingredients. So I have some personal favorites, and those are Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar, honey, and olive oil. And I mixed those together. Those are the only four that I prefer. I have also done, what was the other one that I made? I've made one with tahini sauce and lemon juice. I've tried peanut sauce. They're not bad. It really is depending on what you want. You can kind of mix and match, like I said. So sesame oil is another one of my favorites. However, I tend to use sesame oil when I'm making like stir fries. I haven't actually tried it in a Buddha bowl, although now I'm starting to want to try that because the more I think about that, that sounds really good. All right, so the next one is sprinkling on top. This is the final touch to your Buddha bowl. You can add sesame seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, cashews, pecans, almonds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, flaxseed, sprouts, microgreens, hemp seeds, pine nuts, green onions, and whatever you want. You can even throw in there some dried fruits, although I will say that dried fruits are very, very high in sugar. And when I learned that, I stopped putting dried fruits on my Buddha bowls. But do what you want. Basically, any type of sprinkly thing that you can think of to put on a salad, you can put in a Buddha bowl. So some of my favorite things to sprinkle on top are sesame seeds. I really like chia seeds in there because they don't have a flavor, but chia seeds add a lot of moisture. Nuts, of course, are really good. Microgreens, I wanted to comment about those. So I mentioned earlier how Buddha bowls, they are like a big mixture of all sorts of stuff. And the more you put in there, the less you can taste each thing. And so microgreens they're not the best tasting, of course. They're kind of stringy, but they're so good for you. They are one of the best superfoods. They have so many minerals, nutrients, so many good things. So I sprinkle some microgreens in there. Sometimes I pull off the stem because the stem is kind of uncomfortable to eat. Like it's stringy, and I just don't like that, but maybe you do. So I just kind of take the leafy part and put it in there. Pine nuts are one of my favorite things to put in Buddha bowls. They don't add a whole lot of flavor, but they add crunch. So if you're into crunch, yes, add pine nuts. And green onions, I love those too. I put those on a lot of stir fries. So I hope that you've gotten a lot of inspiration to make Buddha bowls with all of the ingredients that I've given you. And if you are really into eating healthy, then here's another video that is going to give you some of the healthiest foods that you can eat along with Buddha bowls. So I hope this has motivated you to start eating healthier, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you are interested in holistic health, eating healthy, and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.